Up, 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 up.
Uni. One short, funny little word that means so much.
So, how about that? Ooh, horrible sound. How about that? Is that any better? I'm a professional. I do this all the time. Gonna have to break out the headphones. At least I've got some of the cameras working. For instance. Okay. Didn't get some of the cameras working. Here we go, another evening of fault fixing on the fly. I might guess I think there's some kind of it's like a message from the streaming gods. Graham, you're not meant to stream. Echoes. Yeah. I know. Echoes. Right. Bear with people. So talk amongst yourselves. As you've seen, if you can bear to hear the echoes for a moment. We've got some topics to talk about tonight. Hopefully I can fix my thing. What's the name of the thing that does the thing? Just talk amongst yourselves, guys. Voice mod, that's the one. The high-pitched whine is back. It's not good. Press the button. Why is it not loading? Sorry about this, everyone. This is very unprofessional. One day we'll do a stream and it will all work. Just want to start. How would you start? We're doing the thing where everything's plugged into the same place. That's plugged into that. Why Is it still echoey if I do it? Yeah. Is that any better? Probably not. Don't move. It now it's even stopped. I can't hear anything in my headphones now. I don't know if that means you can hear anything, if I've fixed anything, if I've broken anything. I had a good long conversation with someone this week about streaming and how to set things up, and I've realised I've got no freaking clue. Ever since I started buying new stuff, it's all gone completely downhill. Echo's gone, but the wine's still there. No wine for me this week. I have my Hop House 13 glass, but unfortunately we don't have Hop House 13. This week's refreshments are sponsored by Innocent Gun and my wife, or dad, I can't remember who bought me these. Had a week off last week, went up to Scotland to visit the old folks, and brought some beer back with me, as you do. Right, let's try this again. Yay! Okay, we've got 2 cameras. That's a start. Is the GoPro camera working, I wonder? Dare we test it? Oh, I don't know. Don't know if it's worth it. Anyway, is it whining? Is it too whiny? Why can't I hear the whine? I wonder if I can... I wonder. Do some more fault fixing. Bit of a whine. Well, maybe it's just me. I've been a bit whiny this week myself. Could it be something to do with this? This? I fear this might be as good as we're going to get. We might just have to go with that. Right, I think this is as good as it's going to get. So, we've got Big Face. We've got GoPro. Yay. Oh, all you can see is my beer. We've got my beer cam. Let's call that beer cam. We've got up there cam. We've got terrible audio with my ridiculously expensive... It's not ridiculously expensive. It's quite reasonable, really, but it's made my audio quality go downhill rapidly. But that's something to work on for next week. Let's just go with it, shall we? Because I can't do anything else about it. It is what it is. And now I'm all combobulated. Discombobulated? Just normally combobulated, I don't know. Let's do roll call. There's something we can do. Who have we got in this evening? We have, or had, Carrie Ann. Jennifer's here. Bored. Is it 9 PM yet? Well, it's now 12 minutes. That's got us wasting 12 minutes of the time. Rockies is in. Mark Brennan. Tim's here. Courtney's here. Let's scroll down quickly and say hello to everyone, if nothing else. Simon's in. Simon, be prepared, because I don't know if this will work. So, for this evening, we're going to have a few topics. Meet the Mods, the ever-popular series, is going to be back, and I think we've got a volunteer of Simon tonight, one of the moderators, so we can meet him, say hello, ask him all ridiculous questions, which I did write down some questions, and now I don't know what I've done with them, so I'll just make them up again. We've got There's No Such Thing as a Fish. I was planning on having graphics for all this, but I never quite got around to it. Sometimes work just gets in the way, doesn't it? We've got No Such Thing as a Fish, which is the revelation, thanks to Rebecca last week, or the week before that, pointing out that there's no such thing as a fish. And I'm like, what have I got in here then? What are all these things? So we'll talk about that a little bit. We've got... it started as an idea for a rant. We have Facebook groups and their tyrannical admins and owners and people getting above their station, maybe, or thinking they're a little bit more self-important than they actually are. We'll talk about it in a little while, but it's around the theme of charging for your time, which on the face of it isn't something that should be a bad thing. Time is valuable. That's my most valuable thing I have is my time. So I get it, but there's a right way and a wrong way to go around it, so you can ruffle some feathers, shall we say. That might be the way to think about that. I don't know why I've still got these on, because there's no sound coming through. So we'll talk about that, and we might get ranty, we might not. I might surprise you. Noodle Sandwich is here, making a very good suggestion. Even though this is a car crash of a stream already, give us a like, say hello, all that good stuff. I've even got a fishy question straight away from Noodle Sandwich. I had an outbreak of some type of stag algae in the tank over the last couple of days, and I think it's due to changing light cycles as it's getting darker earlier now. It could be. I certainly had on this tank, it would go with the time of the year, would be how bad or not, I guess, the algae would be, because it would be getting light from there as well as the light from the tank, and it would be worse during summer because the light was longer, and it would be slightly better during winter. But I found that just doing more water changes and upping the changes and getting control of the nutrients in the tank, that seemed to do it for me. So yeah, it could be, but I would maybe just do a couple of big water changes, see if you can halt it, and then you can deal with it. It's Courtney with some misplaced faith in the equipment. That's the thing, I tested this ages ago. Well, about an hour ago, and everything worked fine. Did a bit of a test recording through OBS, could hear myself, could see myself. And as soon as I press the go live, everything goes, falls in a heap. Sharpies, Muddles and Aquatics, evening Fishy Freaks, evening yourself, sir. We've got a $1.99 super thingy from Noodle Sandwich. Thank you very much. So if he's going to go as far as sending me £1.99, I think everyone else can go as far as clicking the like button and subscribing if you haven't subscribed. All that good stuff really helps. We've got 32 people, so you've got 21 likes, 33 people with 21 likes. Whoever that is that's just joined, please click that like button. Let's see if we can get likes above people. Sorry, where was I? I'm going off on a tangent now. Not that, I don't need to see that right now. I'm just going to buzz through everything else, make sure there was no more super chats so I don't ignore them. Matt, Noodles, Siamese Fighter, and there's me being all echoey, and then we'll crack on down. Maple Street Aquatics is in early. Hello, sir. I sound like a shopping centre announcement. Courtney's getting viciously kicked tonight. She must like the sound of my voice. I've had a few comments this week on my YouTube channel. I must admit some of them were quite disconcerting. I had a few comments. One was, I'm loving the ASMR, Audio Sensory Meridian Response, ASMR. I'm loving the ASMR qualities of your videos. And then a completely different one going, agree 100%. I didn't realise I was doing an ASMR type thing. I had another one saying, you remind me of the Bee Gees or something like that. In what way does my voice sound like the Bee Gees? I mean, I am staying alive, but that's about as far as a comparison you can draw. I had someone else saying, I put your videos on because they help me get to sleep. I was like, yeah, backhanded compliment, thank you very much. So if your little unborn baby likes the sound of my voice, that might be a worrying sign for you, Courtney. Jab's in nice and early, usually just comes in 5 minutes before the competition starts. Nice to see you in. Joshy's Fish thinks this is going to be good. It might not be. We never know. There's a new name I haven't seen before. MO18NT. Mo. This might be a trap to catch me out, make me say something rude. But hello, anyway. Andy Morrison, I'm new to this fish in a box carry on, but I'm enjoying your videos. That's exactly what we want. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the videos, but I hope you're enjoying the keeping the fish in a box thing as well. Christine, good afternoon from the USA. Good evening from the UK. We've got Simon already trying to back out there, I think, from doing that. Just a thought, try unplugging the headphones, they might be feeding back. I have done that one. It didn't seem to make a difference. I think I've tried to be too fancy at some point and get all my audio sources streaming through one place. I probably need to go back to plain stuff. Well, let's Phil, any cider jokes yet? No, not yet. I haven't been caught out yet. Well, not that I know of. I might have just inadvertently read someone's name that could have been a joke, and I'm sorry if it's not a joke, because then that's quite rude. But no, if you're new here, it seems to be a bit of a running theme where my regulars and moderators try and catch me out and get me to read out. I'm one of those people that will read it as I'm thinking about it, so I can be caught out, but I'm getting better at it. What beer am I drinking? I'm drinking, this week, we're sponsored by Innocent Gun. Well, we're not sponsored because I bought this myself, but that's the beer for the week. We are drinking it out of a Hop House 13 glass, but I can no longer get Hop House 13, so we're having this and this. A good old Scottish beer. Made of girders. Yes, hoping to do a large change 2 weeks in a row, but my tank has a bunch of 2-day-old platy fry, so do not want to shock them. I found that live bearer fry are pretty much indestructible, other than getting eaten by their parents. Water changes shouldn't cause you too much of an issue. But yeah, I can understand that. Algae is probably really good for fry, because especially staghorn, nobody's going to make a good case for staghorn algae, but staghorn algae with its construction of being a bit filamentous and a bit out there, little bits of detritus and infusoria and all these little tiny bits of things that can be eaten get trapped in it quite easily, so it provides a good source of food and nutrition. Even if they don't eat the algae itself, they eat the things that get trapped in it, so it's good for fry. I'll make that case anyway. That might be the first ever person that's tried to say staghorn algae is a good thing. Who knows, who knows. Freshwater ichthyology, good evening. I know, Bee Gees, I just don't get the Bee Gees reference. None of them are Scottish. None of them have a voice like me. Well, I don't know. I think there just might be people going around going, I wonder what comment we can make to confuse this person. It's Monty. MO18NTY. I get it. Sorry. Steve, how are we doing? Oh no, disaster. Chris forgot to get wine. Oh, Jennifer's got 2 bottles in the fridge, so this is going to end in tears for Jennifer. Everyone keep talking to her, make sure she's not fallen over and smashed her face against anything. Panda incoming, as Scott says. So, right, I think we're down to the bottom now. I'll have one last sip. Not last sip, I'll have one more sip, because I've got a bit of a frog in my throat. So we had a bit of a break last week. I went up to Scotland to see the parents. Sorry, I just saw that comment. You sound more like Shrek than the Bee Gees. I mean, I can get on board with that. At least I do sound like Shrek, or as I like to say, Shrek sounds like me. But yeah, Bee Gees, who knows? Took a bit of a break. Took a bit of a break from making videos and everything, and just went up and saw the family and did my thing, and it was all good. So a bit rusty because the weeks before that live stream was also a complete car crash. And I think I ended up doing that with just the GoPro and no other cameras or no audio properly. So we've got a bit of a start. And like I say, we're going to do a few topics tonight. I'm going to touch on them, ask for your opinions as well, and we can discuss. I might even ask Simon when we get him on. We're going to do Meet the Mods, meet Simon, find out a little bit more about him, what he does for a living, what his aquarium history is, all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about how there's no such thing as a fish, which is a thing. You think that's a strange thing for an aquarium-related channel to say, but you know. And then we're going to talk about the wonders of Facebook, the gift that keeps on giving, whether it's buying things on Facebook and ridiculous prices or expectations that are set, or whether it's today's latest controversy, admins of Facebook groups and pages charging for their advice. Joshy's Fish with the super chat for $1.99. Thank you very much, Josh. And your fish, depends who it was that sent it, I guess, but thank you. That reminds me to do a little bit of admin. So, if this is your first time here, I realise I've now wasted 20 minutes waffling and trying to sort out all my technical issues, but normally it's a little bit more streamlined than this. And I do release videos every now and again. So I would really appreciate a little subscribe. There's a button down there somewhere, might even be down there. I'd really appreciate joining the team if you want to. I mean, you don't have to, that costs money, so I completely understand if you don't want to, but if you do, you join the team, you get access to a bunch of new emojis that you can use in the chat, specific to the team members. If you join as a hero member, you also get a 10% discount at aquariumadventures.co.uk website up there, which you can use as a hero member, and 10% off absolutely everything. If you don't want to do any of that, by all means go on to aquariumadventures.co.uk and have a look at some of the foods or merch ideas. You get this lovely cock t-shirt. I don't know why that amuses me so much, I'm so childish. But various items of merch you can buy on there, and foods and other things. It is a little bit sparse at the moment because we're about to move house. House news, we'll have some house news as well. But you know, every little helps. It all helps going into this new equipment, which then craps out on me. But anyway, in the ideal world, this all goes towards improvements in the channel and more fish and more tanks and all that kind of stuff. If you don't want to do any of those things for whatever reason, you every week, it's not there, Graham, it's there. There's a Discord server, so you can join us in Discord. A little bit freer than Facebook. A lot of people don't like Facebook. You can jump into chat. We've got various channels, some for just messing around and chatting, some for serious advice or help or selling and swapping things, all that good stuff, as well as facilitating Jennifer's dirty mind and lots of cock jokes. So you can join our Discord server and jump in there and say hello. Yeah, lovely bunch of guys, and you won't go wrong there. So let's kick off with house news. Oh. Invoice number 1, fish keeping advice. Yes, super chats are appreciated on this channel, although not required. If you have a question, you're allowed to ask it. I'll come back to that in a minute. Or should we start with that? Oh, I don't know. So, for those of you that don't know, there was a little bit of drama on the fish tube world today, and I must say it completely passed me by. There's a certain channel, and I don't think I tried to check this earlier. I'm not sure whether I can libel or slander if I just tell the truth. As Josh is there. I'm loving these mistakes, Josh. Wrong person. So I'm just going to say facts. I'm not going to slander anyone or libel anyone, but there's a group out there on Tinterweb in the UK, which is one of the larger, maybe, groups, which completely passed me by. I must admit, I joined it only today when I heard about the little bit of drama that was going on. So, Tropical Fish Keeping UK, like I say, it's one of the bigger groups, and in fact, let's just show you, shall we? I mean, they don't have a monopoly on Facebook. It's public. You can do what you want. Can I find it? Oh, it may well have been deleted, the post. Just bear with me, caller, while I look this up properly. No, I can't. I can't find the post, so maybe it's gone because it was quite controversial. But so we're talking about this group. The leader or the admin of the group, I believe, has a chequered history with a number of my associates and people that I know in the hobby. But our paths have never crossed, so I haven't got anything bad I can say about the person. I haven't got anything good I can say about the person. But yeah, it's a large UK-based Facebook group. It's why am I on the wrong page again? A large UK-based Facebook group, and I think so. What I got from reading the posts earlier was they're trying to legitimise it as a proper business. And the particular thing that they were talking about was this admin getting upset that, or not upset, I guess, making the comment that lots of people were asking for advice through the page rather than the group, which was important. Supreme leader, yes, leader, supreme leader, and saying that it's got to stop because it's taking up too much time, so she's going to charge for her time. So if you want advice, you have to pay. So you can still ask on the group. So I think she was trying to make the case that you can still ask your questions, but if you want an immediate response or a one-to-one session, you have to pay for your time. But I could read into all the connotations that some people got very upset by this, as they demonstrated in the comments. I joined today just to read about this, and I've seen it 100 times. So in my proper job, I have a very small percentage of that proper job is looking at, or at least being aware of people's social media profiles and the business's approach to how they utilise social media. And it's not a rule because there are no rules, but if there were to be rules, the number one guidance would be you don't try and monetize every stream of connection that you've got with your potential customers. So you use social media and you use Facebook as a platform to advertise, as a platform to interact. And if it becomes a point where there's a monetization exchange, you send that person off to the appropriate channel. So you send them off to your website. If you're a consultant, if you're an IT consultant, you don't conduct your business through Facebook Messenger. That's not how you communicate. People might reach out to you there because they find you on Facebook and reach out and say, could you help me out with my business? Or could you tell me what's wrong with this fish? That's fine. You don't then continue the transaction there. You say, well, you could go and book a session and we can talk about this privately. I think the mistake this person was making was that she was saying this was her job, and that she should charge money for that job because no one else does their job for free. And that's the number one mistake I see people making. That's not your job. Your job is something that pays you. You don't get to do what you do and then just start charging people. It's the other way around. You have to get the money first for the thing you're doing, not just do what you want to do and expect people to pay you for it. It doesn't work like that. Especially doesn't work like that on platforms like Facebook or Instagram. It's like, oh well, I'm getting so many messages, I can't keep up with them, so I need to prioritize. Yes, you do, You don't start charging on that input stream. You put an autoresponder on saying, I get 1,000 messages a day here, I can't possibly answer them all. If you're serious and you want one-to-one support, go to my website and book a session with me. Not, I expect PayPal. I want the monies up front if you want to talk to me. It's just, that's not the way to do it. Rebecca, I had a quick squiz around the group. I didn't see your name mentioned anywhere, so they might have left off. But it was just so that was my feeling. So there's two things of concern there. There's one is that's not how you run a business, or that's a poor business model. And if you find that objectionable, that's the word I'm trying to say, the best thing to do there is just ignore it and let it go on, because if that carries on, that's going to drive people away. The group will diminish over time, and it won't take long. It'll only take 6 months of people saying, if I have to ask for, I'm not doing that. And that might be what they want. They might just want people to stop asking directly and put them all to the group so as other people can help. But you just don't do that. So you don't do that. So that's the first thing. There's no expectation. If someone sends me a message on Facebook, there's no expectation that guarantees them a reply. I mean, Facebook does message me and say, someone sent you a message. And I'm like, yeah, I know, at 2:30 when they were clearly pissed. Why? I'm not answering that. I get tons of messages a day. Half of them are, will you please sponsor my shitty aquarium product, or will you do a collab with me, or will you do this, will you do that? I mean, very few of them warrant a response. That's just the nature of the beast. There's no law that says you have to respond to every comment. So it's not your job, and if your mental health is being affected by the amount of messages you're getting, change it. No one's going to take you to court and say, they didn't answer my Facebook Messenger message. That's not how it works. So you don't have to do that. And you don't have to do that whole drama queen thing of, I'm so busy and I'm inundated with all these messages. No one's inundated with all the messages. You can literally click 2 buttons and make them stop coming through, and then you just don't see them. You can't then at the same time say, but it's my business and that's how No, well then you're doing it wrong, because that's not how you run a business either. So there's that whole side of things. There's the whole woe is me, look at what's going on in the world. Aren't I so busy and crazy and everything's going on and I need to manage it better, so I'm going to monetize it. And when you're trying to monetize it as your primary goal, rocky ground already. But then there's are you entitled to give that kind of advice? So in my line of work, if somebody came to me and said, Graham, I've got a 10,000 seat Citrix environment, I need to get it migrated into Azure from an on-premise environment, network's a bit dodgy, what should I do? And I go, well, all you need to do is bish bash bosh this, that and the other. And then they go and do that, and it falls in a heap and their business dies. They sue me. They take me to court and say, this guy gave us advice. This guy told us all we had to do was press these 3 buttons and everything would magically happen. And it didn't work, and we lost 3 days of business. 3 days of business cost us $5 million. We want it back. So you don't give advice for money, because that's effectively being a contract. And if you're going to do that, you have to have certain things in place. So when I give advice, it's because I've been contracted by someone and we sign a contract. And I make sure my company, if it's me doing it personally, I make sure I have all the insurance, indemnity clauses up the wazoo, or if I'm working for a company doing it that way, the company is backing all those insurance and indemnities, and we have contracts and agreements and stipulations in place. I have qualifications, I have experience, I have all the things that entitle me to give advice in that particular area. Having kept fish for a long time isn't a qualification, it isn't an insurance policy, it isn't a publicly backed indemnity policy. You're just opening yourself up for trouble, or potential trouble. Because giving advice freely is, I think you should do this, that's fine. Tell me £5 and I'll tell you the answer. I think you should do this. It killed my fish. Come here, I want a refund. That in and of itself is very dodgy ground. So I don't know. I haven't really been looking at the comments while I've been giving you my thoughts. Not necessarily a rant. I think she's trying to do things to make her life easier, but in a way that just irks people, maybe. So I don't think it's done with bad intentions, but I have heard some horror stories since I've been looking into this with this particular person. Again, I can't draw any conclusion because I've never been involved in any of them, in case there's any lawyers watching. But what do you think? I think it was brought to my attention because somebody posted on Facebook saying, I can't believe there's people on Facebook charging for advice. I can't either, is my complete honest answer. I think you should go to your trusted sources. And if your trusted sources tries to charge you, they probably shouldn't be a trusted source. And I think at heart everyone understands that. So I get that it's a bit cultish, the TFUK thing, and if that is your cult and you're happy to pay for it, then more fool you. I think you can get really good advice elsewhere for free, from people that are actually invested in it. So, like, for instance, if you join my Discord community, you'll get there people. If anyone tries to charge you money for any advice there, other than Courtney, because she's about to become a mother, she needs to pay for things. Nappies aren't cheap. But if anyone tries to charge you for money for that, you'd think, what? I just don't get it. Like, if someone asks me a question now, I wholeheartedly encourage you to give me super chats and ask questions. There is no requirement to give me a super chat to get your question answered. I mean, if you give me a super chat, I'll probably guarantee I'll read out your comment. But I'm more than likely going to read out your comment if you don't super chat it. Super chat it, it's more of a support thing. And I think one of the comments this Ruth made as well was, well, we have other streams of income, but they're just not very good. So we have Patreon, for instance. If you have Patreon, if you have established streams of income and they're just not very good, make them better. Don't just keep adding more and more in. If people aren't donating to you because they don't think it's worth it, then they're not going to pay you to answer questions because they won't think it's worth it. So what you should do is give your advice. What you should do, why should you listen to me? But what I would do would be give my advice freely and available on my terms. So if I'm getting 1,000 questions a day, I'm not answering 1,000 questions a day. But I will answer some and say, it'd be really good if you find this advice useful, like kind of thing I say at the end of my videos and things like that. If you find it's useful, click the subscribe button. Buy a thing. Donate on Patreon. I mean, I don't have Patreon. Well, I might have Patreon. I don't know. But mention it there, because at the end of the day, Facebook and all social media is your shop window. It's not your shop till. It's not where you process your transactions. It's your, look at me, look what we can do for you, we can help, we can give advice, we can give all these things. If you want to charge with advice, there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself. But you have to think it through. It can't just be, oh, I'm getting too many questions, so I'm going to charge for them. It's, I'm getting loads of questions, I'm going to say I'm not going to answer every question, but if you want your question answered, I'm going to offer a consultancy service over here in this other stream. But you also have to know what you're talking about. So, and I think that comes with experience as well. I would never offer a fish consultancy business because I don't know what I'm talking about in a lot of cases. I know a lot about a few things and I know a little about a lot of things. There are far more genned up people than me, and I mean, every time somebody mentions the Latin name of a fish or a plant, I think they're trying to cast a spell on me. So my level of knowledge is not good enough to offer that kind of service. So if I was to charge for my consultancy services in the fishy arena, it would be a very small request for payment. There wouldn't be much in that. So I think you have to be, it's just the whole charging for anything, unless it's just for asking for support, you have to be very clear on your boundaries about what is and isn't a business. You can't claim to be a business but not be listed in Companies House. You can't claim to be VAT registered if you're not VAT registered. You can't offer that kind of advice without having indemnity policies or insurance policies backing that up. So it's just a little bit of an amateurish mistake was how I saw it. But then the more and more I read into this, the word envenomed was used for corridori. Oh God, I can't say it. Corys. The word envenomed was used rather than jabbed. It's just like, why would you use that word? I don't know why. It's the perfectly correct word and everything. I can't fault the use of the word. It was just like, oh, what an arse. Why would you say it like that? So I can see how this person might get under other people's skin, and that happens. I'm sure I get under other people's skins. So I think you have to give a bit of a pass to that. But if you're not a vet, you can't advise on medication. The thing that pisses me off about Facebook groups, and this isn't necessarily one on this Facebook group, because I've not really been a member of that group other than today, but the amount of Facebook groups where you'll have, my fish is sick, here is a 420p 10-second video of it, and everyone else goes, yeah, well, in my opinion, you need to quarantine, separate, treat with Metro for 5 days, and then it'll be fine. And you're like, what? How on earth have you... Maybe that's where the BG thing came from. What? How on earth? How on earth can you tell from such a terrible quality video or picture? How can you claim to know what the problem is? It's not possible. And number one red flag here is if someone claims to be an expert on something. No, experts don't claim to be experts. Experts are confident in their own opinions, where they don't have to go around going, I'm an expert, I know everything, come and ask me these things. Experts, they just don't do that. So if someone claims to be an expert at something, don't trust them. That's the number one red flag, is don't trust experts who call themselves experts. There are such things as experts, but no one's an expert on everything. And the people who are actually experts never claim to be experts because they always know there's more to learn. So that's my number one top tip. And the thing about Facebook groups is everyone seems to think that they are that expert. And it's like things like, so in my experience it's discus groups, because that's where I spend most of my time learning about discus. It would be, here's this picture, what's wrong with my discus? And I remember one where someone posted a picture of their fish and said, can anyone help me? The fish has been acting weird. I don't know what's going on. Picture of the fish looked reasonably healthy. The fins were a little bit clamped. It was a little bit dark. So most people were going, maybe could you get a video? Could you let us see how it's acting? Or a clearer picture, because it was quite a dark picture. Or can you tell us anything else about the behaviour? Is it eating? Is it pooping? What's it doing? All this kind of thing. So there's those are the good people who are like, well, there's not really enough information there for me to tell you what the problem is. Then there's a second class of people who are like, oh, it's hole in the head. You couldn't even see the head. It was a side-on picture. It's hole in the head, treat with this. Or it's discus plague, treat with that. Or it's cross-contamination, same as discus plague, really. Separate and treat with this, or any number of different things, but stated in such a way that they were so confident that that was the thing, that if you were a newbie, you'd go, oh, well, great, that person's really confident, that must be what it is. It turned out that they attached the wrong picture. They meant to attach a different picture of a completely different fish who had poked itself in the eye with a stick, and they were asking, really wanted to know, is the eye gone? Is it dead? Is it going to heal? Is it going to grow back? And you're like, oh, all these people that have just looked at just a different fish that this person happened to take a picture of, looked a little bit clampy. Half of them diagnosed it as having all kinds of things wrong with it. Half of them asked sensible questions. None of them went, are you sure that's the right fish? So that's what always sticks out in my mind, is it's just, you can never, don't trust anyone that claims to be an expert. Generally don't trust anyone that's trying to fleece you for money. But if you're happy to pay for something, or you're happy to support something, there's nothing wrong with someone wanting to get their time covered, but you can't really have that expectation to have your time covered unless it's already your job. So if I'm out there doing my IT proper job and someone wants me to work late, I get to say, no, not unless you pay me. I don't get to do IT for free and then turn around to all these people and say, oh, well, actually, can you start giving me money for this thing that I'm already doing? That's not how it works. And therein ends my rant. So let me just check through a couple of the comments to make sure I haven't actually libelled myself or upset anyone. Seems like an arse. I think that probably covers it the best. And that was my honest opinion was, oh, that seems like a bit of a dick move. Because I don't know any of the background. I get that, well, in fact, the very next comment there, so Rebecca's saying, and various other people saying, as soon as you took over this group, you started asking for money for everything. You started selling things. You started a shop. You started trying to monetize everything. And I think she quite unashamedly says, I'm trying to run this as a business. There's nothing wrong with that in and of itself. But you have to be very clear and very open about that and treat it like a business. And a business would never try and monetize its private chats. That's what I'm trying to say. As Scott says, one trusted source. The Aquarium Adventures Discord server. Which, if you're interested, looks a bit like that. And we have inappropriate cock jokes. In fact, can I get that over there? Orgasmic blueberries. So this is the Discord server where you can find in here. We have introductions. You can say hello. You can just chat about any random nonsense in the general streams. You can give me ideas of things that you might want to talk about on live streams. So I encourage everyone to join this. Just share pictures if you want to share pictures. You can talk about your fish. You can buy things. You can sell things. You can show pictures of you and your stuff. If you buy a t-shirt or I send you some stickers, send me a picture. Because then, when you do that, if I go back to Big Face, in fact I can go to slideshow. That slideshow's no working. Graham broke slideshow. There we go. Wrong side. So, in fact, let me get rid of my email address. If you buy any of my foods or t-shirts or merch or stickers or anything like that, send in a picture, put it on the Discord server, and then we'll stick it up there and we can see you. Right, so I was in the middle of looking at something, wasn't I? Let me crack on and keep doing that. So one trusted source is the Discord server because there's lots of very experienced people in there, none of them claiming to be experts, and I know that several of them actually are. Put your advice on a t-shirt and sell it. Problem solved. There you go. Yes. Oh, there we go. Sharpies, Models and Aquatics gave me a shout out in today's video. Sort of. It involved not dropping cameras into rivers. Well, it was a GoPro. It was waterproof. It was fine in the end. I just had a teenage son with wet feet for the rest of the day. And look, it still works fine. If you're wondering, that was in reference to one of my recent videos about collecting wild fish. One of my wildly popular and well-received videos. I think about 8 people saw it. Where I went into the local river to collect some fish. Ooh, this dangerous stuff. I'm now pouring a beer over my keyboard. And I was trying to get a video of me catching the fish in my little fish trap with a GoPro attached to it, and as soon as I put it in the water it all fell apart and the GoPro started floating off down the river, so I chucked in the 14-year-old son to go and retrieve it for me. But thank you for the shout out. Discord's a friendly, safe place, otherwise they get banned. Corridoras. See, I can say words. Yes, that the first post I saw on there was something. This is your weekly reminder that you can be envenomated by corridoras. I was like, what? Well, exactly. If you're going to give scientific advice, you have to use scientific words. Because if you're a scientist. Yeah, this was my big takeaway as well. So a lot of the complaints that I read of people over there were, why are you trying to give advice? You're a jeweler. Or why are you trying to give advice? You're a plumber. That's a little harsh, I think, because I'm an IT person and I give advice on fish. Well, I mean, you're allowed to give advice. You're allowed to be knowledgeable in more than one subject. But it's the disingenuous part of it, as if you are, I'm an admin of a Facebook group, don't you know? Therefore, what, I should respect your opinion? Do you know how to get to be an admin of a Facebook group? Create a Facebook group and call yourself admin. Be willing to shill your group on any other Facebook group going, and that group will get members. It's no kind of achievement having I've got a Facebook group with, 3,000 members, 2,000 members. That was not hard. I didn't put any effort into it. It gives me no clout. I don't get why you get clout of it. I don't know. Saying that people come to me and go, oh, Graham has a channel with 10,000 subscribers. What would you say to this? And I'm like, I make videos of how I fail at doing things 90% of the time. Why do you think I'm some kind of... what makes you think I'm qualified to speak on this level because of that? I don't have a degree in any of this. I can barely say the name of most fishies. I barely understand the science behind most of it. I quite often have to go and ask my wife, because she is an actual biologist, to explain many of the concepts to me. Just because you're on Tinterwebs doesn't mean... I don't get it. In fact, more often than not, because you're on Tinterwebs means you don't know. If you're really good, it's so rare to be really good at the subject and then be good at being YouTubing on said subject. Because if you're really good at the subject, you're spending your time learning and keeping up to speed, not on, how do I get this video to pop? How do I make this thumbnail work? How can I market this? That's not helping you with the subject you're trying to be an expert in. I'm going off on a tangent now. A master's in biology. Wow, there you go. Again, that means you passed an exam. It doesn't mean you actually know what you're on about. Paul says, so many sites and people willing to help. I enjoy your streams and videos. I've also purchased a few of your products, which by the way were very good. Double thumbs up for that. Thank you very much, Paul. Long may it continue. Jennifer knows some big chemistry words. For a £5, I'll tell you the dangers of dihydrogen monoxide. Or water. I got that one. I knew that one. Yeah, I mean, Facebook is pretty toxic sometimes, especially in groups. I mean, for a time I tried to tout my own group as the refuge from the hatred. Right, let's get down to some more comments. Doodly-doot. Well, we're nearly at 10 o'clock. Are you ready, Simon? Shall we get Simon in at 10 o'clock? Shall we meet the mod at 10 o'clock? Do you know what to do? You have to join a channel. Have I even set myself up yet? Oh, I don't know. You have to go on one of the voice channels, Simon, and then we'll do that in a few minutes. But let me get down to the rest of the comments. Oh, people are saying things to me. God, there's been a lot of comments. Sorry, I don't mean to ignore any of them. Let's say, before even reading this one, I'm almost guaranteed that it's some kind of Mahatma Jeeves. Mahatma. Mahatma Kana Jeeves. I don't get it. Is that an actual person? Or have I just said it wrong? I'm not very good at this, am I? Mahatma Kana Jeeves. Kane Jeeves. Mahatma Kane Jeeves. No, don't know. I love the Sizeo pictures are all different orientations. This one particularly I think is hilarious. It's like Jennifer decided I'm going to put on this t-shirt. Oh my god, I've been stabbed! Or I've been electrocuted. Just at the exact moment. I recently found Dr. Jesse Sanders on YouTube. Great fish vet, lots of information if anyone is interested. I will need to make a note of that. I found someone that I thought was going to be interesting. Oh, I don't know if I want to say anything. Here's my... I've got about 3,000 Aquarium Adventures pens and the only one I can find is a Sharpie. What was that name? Jesse Sanders. I'll have a look at that. LMA Aquariums. Is DIY potassium fertilizer bad? What do you think? DIY potassium fertilizer. There's a question. I don't think DIY fertilizers are bad. What do you mean by DIY fertilizers? I guess that's my first question. As Corey says, I won't answer that until you get my invoice paid. £5 per question. No. DIY as in like dry mix ferts, like the EI, the estimative index system, where you mix up your own fertilizers. Big fan of that for the cost point of view. Not as big a fan from the FAF point of view, but I'm not as ginned up in fertilizers as maybe I should be. Especially because I have never had a potassium deficiency. If anything, I've had potassium overload, so I've been trying to dial back on the potassium. So I don't have much experience with potassium fertilizers or DIY versions of it, but if you know what you're doing with it, there's no reason why it shouldn't work, especially if you have a deficiency. That's exactly what you want to do. So in my case, in my main tanks, I've got an iron deficiency, so I'm trying to add in more iron. And if you had a potassium deficiency, you would do it exactly the same way, where you would add in your potassium. Don't know how you're DIYing your potassium, but there you go. It depends where you get it from. Just be careful, because potassium can lead to all kinds of problems if it gets too high. So, a bit of a rubbish answer, I'm afraid, but there you go. Ha! Callum said turn the mic gain down on the mixing desk and turn the mic volume up. You may be trolling me with that and now you can't hear me, but what do you think about that? Any better? I still don't get it. My hat, my cane, Jeeves. Oh, as in Jeeves, my hat, my cane. Sorry, spoiled that. The I'm better society. I'm better than you society. There is a bit of that, but like, how dare you speak to me? Don't you know I'm an internet celebrity? Right. What do we think? Simon, are you there? I'm going to have to plug in me headphones if I want to hear you, I think. Oh, my headphones are already plugged in. Just talk amongst yourselves while I try and figure this out. Pardon me. He is there as well. I can hear myself speaking. Right, let me just go back to OBS and we'll figure out how to do this thing. There we go. I can't see you though, Simon. Have you got a camera? Oh, oh. Now I can. It does. No, well, it does. Right, don't worry, no one can see you yet because I'm still fanning about in the background. So, we're about to introduce Simon, everyone. If you have any questions, get them down in the chat. I think Jen said she had about 15 or 16 lined up where she was going to do that, but I'm just... Yeah. I'm just going to rearrange your face. In a nice way. that sounded worse than I meant it to. I'm going to rearrange the window your face is appearing in. And then... Alright, things are beeping at me now. Hang on, bear with me. Why am I beeping? Right, that's not helpful, Callum. You can't send me... Oh yeah, it's like an aeroplane taking off. Is that the noise everyone can hear? I'll fix it for next week. I'm afraid you're going to have to put up with it just now. Right, let's get rid of that. And we'll transition to this one. So, everyone, please meet Simon. Simon is one of my first, if not second mods that we ever had on the channel, I think. Let me get back to the chat. And third to face the gauntlet of the Meet the Mods evenings. So, oh yeah. So if you get to be a moderator, you get a special T-shirt with a spanner on it, and you get to tell all your friends that you're a spanner. And I didn't think that through when we designed that. Just have to put that up on the screen. Hang on. Oh, there is on Discord, isn't there? So, I'll hand over to you for a second to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you. Why would you having a massive spanner in your hand be relevant? But tell us name, age, sex, location, bank details, all that good stuff. We want to know how long you've been keeping fish, how did you get into the hobby, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll have a bit of a Q&A, and then I'll let you fade back into the background if you want. National insurance number as well, yeah, I forgot about that one, sorry. Oh, wait a minute, whoa, I've lost you, I've clicked something. There you go, sorry, I deleted them by accident, I didn't mean that, people. So, Simon, welcome to the channel, nice to see you. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself. How long have you been keeping fish? Where do you live? All that kind of stuff. Yeah. Right. Oh, apparently I've cut you off and there's no sound. So this is going well. I didn't mean to do that. So bear with me, everyone. Can you still hear me, people? No sound, no sound, no sound. I can hear you. You're not muted. Why would that do that? Why would you do it to me, OBS? You can hear me, but not Simon. This is going well, isn't it? I may as well give up with these live streams. Right, bear with me. Let's see. Did I accidentally mute you or something? No. There we go. Say something now.
Hello.
I think I might have accidentally muted you. I'm terribly sorry. So, what I was saying, Simon says he's a multi-millionaire looking for 18 to 19-year-olds to keep him busy in the evenings. Something like that?
Not drive my Range Rover, yeah, why not?
Yeah. Right, let me know. Can you hear him? Can you hear Simon now? I think I accidentally muted desktop, which muted him.
Solid effort.
There we go. Yes, like as Steve's saying, I want my paying before I let you speak. So, we'll try that again. Hello, Simon.
Hello.
I'll cover off. He's from Reading, which is in the south of the UK, south of England and UK. He has been... Well, you take over. How long have you been keeping fish? What got you into the hobby? There's two questions to start you off.
I think it was the goldfish at the Steam Fair, unfortunately. That's where it started, back when I was...
I mean, it must be a lot of people that get into it with like really what we would now call really bad fish keeping habits. That's what gets you into the hobby.
Oh yeah, if I was keeping fish like I did back then, I would be name and shamed, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I think that's a good thing though, because a lot of people, that's where you divide into two camps. I think either you win a goldfish at the fair and you decide to learn how to take care of it and go, oh, what I'm doing now isn't good, or you go, it'll die soon, and we move on. So
yeah,
So what's your history then? How long have you been keeping fish? I think you said you started as a child with that goldfish type thing and then had a break.
Yeah, 15 odd years. So I got back into the hobby properly 2 years ago now.
All right.
After, the great social media explosion where you could go online and look things up, and I knew that the nitrogen cycle existed and plants existed and you could do proper filtration.
Yeah, I think that's the good thing about social media, isn't it? We often complain about the dark side of it, but it is so much easier to get information. You can just literally ask your phone and it'll tell you. Yeah,
definitely. Well, that's essentially what I did. I found some YouTube videos, and I can't remember what they were, of the aquariums or aquascape, and I think it was more put as, and I suddenly decided that I wanted to get back into it. The internet was the first place I started.
So what are you keeping at the moment then, or what was it that got you into it, and what are you keeping now?
I think I just quite liked the therapeutic side and almost the regime. I know everyone complains about doing maintenance and water changes, but I actually find it quite therapeutic in a sense.
Yeah.
It's a task that you do that allows you to feel a sense of pride that you're looking after like living animals. You've got that responsibility nobody else has, and then it just forms part of the routine, and you just become. I just enjoy it. Really, it's like keeping an underwater garden, essentially. Because where I live with my wife, we live in a flat. We don't have a garden, so this is the nearest thing that
it's bringing that little bit of nature in, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not like a skilled aquascaper or anything like that. I just throw things into the tank and plants and go, let's see what happens. I'm very much the messy sort of junglescape sort of person, as you can probably see behind me. This is the latest tank.
Let me see if I can make your screen.
I think there's an early photo of it in the slideshow with all your products on that I bought. That was when I just finished planting it, I think.
You can see it a little bit better now. But yeah, I mean, I must admit, I think we're a rare breed, because I'm a bit like that as well. I enjoy the maintenance, the water tests, that side of it. It's like a bit of, this is the task, I have to do a thing, it's going to take me half an hour, and I don't have to think about anything else while I'm doing it. It's my little bit of respite from the world, if you like.
Yeah, I don't put like any I don't, you know, you hear some people put a podcast on, or they listen to music, or they put a live stream on. I don't do any of that. I simply just one-on-one with the tank, peace and quiet, unwinding, relaxing, forgetting the stresses of modern life. And that became more apparent when my nan died in December, because she was quite ill for a while, and cutting the story short, that takes a drain on you when you're looking after an elderly, family member for nearly a year or so. To then be able to switch off and not forget everything, but you just allow yourself to just switch off and unwind.
Yeah.
And I'm a very great supporter of that. If you find something, it has to be something that just allows you to escape from everything for even an hour. You find yourself in such a better place.
I completely agree. I've often said that, I think I've said it in videos before, where I'm talking to you now from, this is my office, so this is where I do my normal job, my proper job, and when it all gets too much, all I would ever have to do would just be spin round. And then I've got my tanks behind me, I can just sit and do a water change, or move some plants around, or trim something, and I can just go, forget about that idiot for 10 minutes and do my little things. So I think definitely. It's got so many benefits for mental health and things like that. Being a plumber, I'm out there every day. I'm driving around, I'm seeing new people, I'm hearing their stories or their struggles in life, and you've then got the job itself, which it can be technically challenging sometimes, or you can get wet, or you can have a really bad day and be covered in all sorts. So to come home and essentially, as I said, just not say anything to the fish tank, not even pretend to talk to them, just nothing. There's that sense of nothingness while doing something. And I'm a very manual person, so actually doing stuff like I call it escaping, but putting plants in place, trimming them, changing water, cleaning the filters, ensuring the fish are fed, and all those other small tasks are actually still keeping me ticking over whilst actually fully relaxing, which is why I don't stress myself out with how it looks. Like right now, this behind me, the crypts in the front either need a trim or changing for smaller ones, but in actual fact it shows that they're growing healthily and I'm doing something right, which is actually better for anyone to see. If you see progress of some description, because some people can get really bogged down with, it doesn't look like a George Farmer, for instance. I saw a George Farmer video and this isn't exactly the same, therefore I failed.
Yeah, or a green aqua scape where they've thrown thousands of euros or pounds at something and this is perfect. Perfection isn't always what you see as a picture, and that's where we talk about these Facebook groups and social media and doing actually more harm than good. And
I know, yeah. I'll give you your due though, because I'm looking over here at the bigger version of your picture, and I always like to compliment people and say it looks fake, and when it looks like it's fake plants, because they look so green and so lush.
They're all plastic.
Yeah, they must be all plastic, and that's how you've achieved it, but that looks fantastic. So Scott's asking us in the question, what's in that tank? You have to tell us what we got, both plants and fish. Oh,
the plants, there is a stem plant I can't tell you because I have no idea. I just picked it because it looked nice.
I don't want to put you on the spot because I quite often will say, well, there's the really green one, and then there's a tall green one, and there's the tall.
So mostly in the foreground, midground, you'll see crypts of various descriptions and colours. There may be a reddish one here that you might not be able to see because it's a bit of a slower starter. We have the mosses and some anubiuses. There is a busophilandra in there somewhere. There's also an Amazon saw. I think it's Amazon saw. Is it Blairi? I think that's at the back, but that's not doing so well. The wood is just spider wood, if there is any in there that you can see. That's attaching the most of the.
A lot of moss in there as well, is there?
Yeah, the moss has done really well. I started off the scape with CO2 for the first few months to get those. So I was worried, not worried about crypt melt, but I was concerned that I kept the in vitro pots too long. So I wanted to try and give them a big boost to start with. So you're now looking at it post CO2, and I haven't really trimmed the crypts or the mosses. I think the two of the fluffier ones need to be adjusted. But I've left it deliberately because I've got the cherry shrimp in there that we ordered from your shop, still producing babies. So I don't want to go in there hacking it with a lawnmower just yet.
Nice plug. You've earned that T-shirt.
Thank you. Fish-wise, we've got cherry shrimp. There's a few autocinclus in there. There's neon tetras and some candy cane tetras.
All right.
I wanted a slightly bigger tetra because in my other tank, which is over there, unfortunately you won't be able to see it now because the light's off. I've kept this one on deliberately. In there we have some celestial Poldanios and some ember tetras.
I do like some celestial pearl. They're quite new for you, aren't they?
They are very new for me. I saw them on chance at my local Maidenhead Aquatics, and I decided to give them a go because I really like them.
Yeah, I got rid of mine, so I'm definitely going to get them for the new house.
I much prefer the. I don't know. I've got a thing for tetras and groups or schools of fish. I think it just accompanies things quite well, rather than having like singular or two or three of different species. I'm not a fan. I like bigger groups of things.
Yeah, I quite like the idea of a really big tank. What kind of tank is that that's behind you?
That is a dual Rio 120 litre.
Yeah, I recognised it from the internal filter, I think.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the only tanks I actually like with the internal filter. But yeah, no.
I quite like the filter in them, actually.
I think it's really good, yeah, I agree. But I quite fancy getting a big tank one day. Not that big, but like a 4-foot tank that's just 500 tetras or 500 Rominos or something like that. And just because you see the actual proper schooling or shoaling
I think
behaviour.
I do want a bigger tank. I'm hoping soon to move, and the plan is to have a company of smaller tanks with a larger tank in the living space. Because at the moment we're in my living room, and there's this one, the 60 litre. There's a small 20 litre that's going to be shrimp only. Kind of been kept that under wraps from Discord at the moment, because I was trying some irigumi aquascaping, just for some fun, really.
I think you've got a flair for it. So,
but the plan is to almost copy Aquarium Co-op when he had his big 800-gallon with all the tiger barbs. I think.
Oh yeah.
I really like tiger barbs, but I don't. I want big numbers to really see whether they are naturally the natural. What's the polite word without saying? Whether you put them in smaller groups, they can be the notorious fin nippers, as they say, and a bad rep. I don't. I want to see what they're like as a natural school. But that's something for the future, and I'm always thinking ahead to what I'd like to do next because it keeps me fresh in people. Because sometimes you can go a bit stale. Like for you, like when you're fish room, you have multiple tanks. You can divide your attention. I have two, so they will look like this for a long time.
I think this is the start of what they call multi-tank addiction.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I need to get some.
You need to be careful now.
Yeah. Three is my maximum now in the living room. The lady who should be obeyed has limited my maximum. So I will.
And then it's a garden shed, and then it's a garage, and then
yes. Then it's a online.
You're just me a few years earlier. That's all.
Maybe.
No, well, I think that tank there looks great, and I've seen everyone joins the Discord, you'll see a few Simon's pictures. I think you're doing really well.
Yeah, the
with
60 litres on the fish tanks as well. I'm not sure how long ago that picture was, but that's run slightly differently. It has an external filter with external heater, and I've gone for a jungly type look. If the picture's vastly different to what it looks like now, post or pre-trim, I'll post a new one up soon.
Okay. Right, we're into the quickfire question element.
Excellent,
of the
let's go, I'm ready.
So we'll start with favourite fish.
Angelfish.
Why?
Because they're...
I didn't mute that or anything.
No, I know.
Least favourite fish.
I made sure. Least favourite fish?
Yes.
I didn't think of that one. Going to have to be pygmy cories.
Oh,
and I'll tell you
controversial.
why. I'll tell you why. I didn't do very well with them when I first got them, and I actually really liked them and wanted to keep them. And I got a big, well, I say a big group. I got 15 when I very first came back 2 years ago into the hobby. And it was only just recently by watching a video, I think on YouTube, of somebody, or somewhere, there was a conversation where they were buying wild pygmy cories, but they were being sold as tank bred cories. So my parameters weren't what they were looking for, and I could never work out why they weren't doing well, and I ended up growing very frustrated with them. Not through their own fault, but for my own, because I wasn't keeping them.
You couldn't figure out what was lacking.
I have a couple left, which I think are actually tank raised, that are doing really well. But I lost, quite a number, and that does take a toll on you, especially when I got back into it at first, because I think there is a picture of the very first time I filled up the 60 litre. I was very nervous about getting back into it because I was reading up and doing all the testing and making sure that I did everything to the best of my ability, and I just kept losing them. And I just put it down to newbie experience,
isn't it? Yeah.
And from there, I've had a couple of bad experiences with buying fish from other places I can't go and see them. So now I'm very selective about where I buy from, and I'm very curious to know whether they're wild or tank bred, so that I know that they're suitable for my water. Because in the southeast, the water here is very hard, and it can fluctuate like anyone's water can. So yeah, that's why they're a least favourite, because I think they could have actually swung me away from coming back.
Yeah, because it can be really off-putting when you think you're at fault, when if you just don't know the right information, you're never going to win, are you? If
I'd have known that information a year or two ago when I first started buying them, I wouldn't have brought any more and put myself through more of that, because I was doing excessive, not treatments, but I was doing quarantine to like the fullest extent. I was almost tinkering too much, which just made it unenjoyable for about 3 or 4 months. I
can totally relate to that, because I think I've said a few times before, me getting into discus was because I bought some really bad discus and expanded so much time, cost, energy into trying to get them right, and it was just always a losing battle, and it just puts you off. So there was nothing I could have done. They wouldn't have made it no matter what I had done, because they were poor
and that was
ones.
the same for my.
And it's just so disheartening. You're like, they're still alive. They're still sentient beings, if you like. So no, I totally get that. So it's turned out to be not quite quick fire, but let's try crack on. So we've done best fish, least favourite fish. It's not your fault, it's my fault. Best tip you've ever either discovered or been given?
Nitrogen cycle.
Good one. And the final one, if you had to be a fish, which fish would you be and why? Which I tell everyone is my kids' questions, but it was actually my wife's question.
Again, angelfish, I think, would suit my personality. Like, I come across as a nice, approachable person, but I was going to say, you've
been very pleasant and well-spoken and nice and gentle.
Cock when I want to be.
Right, and very final question, who do you nominate for the next mod showcase? Or would you prefer to take some bribes in the backhand and let us know during the week?
I'll nominate Tim.
There you go, Tim. You've been nominated. Hopefully, you're not on the road next week. um, and I think I can't remember what the last question was that I asked everyone else, but it was some kind of thing. If you have this platform now with whatever we've got, 50 people watching or whatever it is, what message would you like to get out? Is there anyone you've seen out there that's not getting any recognition, or you think you should go and check out this book, this video, this channel, whatever it might be? The floor is yours for the next minute or so. What would you like to say?
I think if your research is key, but I also think that talking to another person via a comfortable media would be somewhere like our Discord channel, because we are all like-minded. We all just want to help each other. There's no, I'm going to tell you wrong advice because I know you're going to suffer. Like, we see each other and talk to each other every Friday and throughout the week. So finding the Discord is definitely, it's been good for me as well. I've learned quite a lot from it, and everyone too. And whilst being a mod, the latest thing I've read is actually George Farmer's Aquascaping book. Now, I thought that was going to be more how to aquascape, but there's actually quite a lot of beginner-friendly chapters and paragraphs that actually, if I'd have had even 2 years ago, these tanks may not look like they do today. I haven't quite finished reading it yet, but it's been very enlightening to see it in black and white rather than like via a video where someone's vlogging their experience.
Yeah.
It's very concise.
Consume it at your own pace. And
yeah, I can put it. I've had it for weeks, and I've just picked it up and put it down. And the same with Discord. Sometimes I'll start a topic or I'll ask a question, and other times I'll help others, and that's how I ended up becoming a mod. I think you noticed me answering someone's questions on new beginnings on their tank, I think. And for me, it's like if I have something to share, I want to make sure that I give everyone the same advice or the same help, because I didn't have that 15 years ago, and I didn't necessarily have it 2 years ago. Now I probably wouldn't be without it.
Yeah, very good, very well said, and I would concur with that, because I also have George's book, and my concise review of it is, it does take you through the technicalities of all the various techniques of aquascaping, but and then the end says, do what you want, do what you like, do what you think fits. Here are some guides, but it's an art, isn't it? There are no rules when it comes to art. It's just make something nice. Anyway, thank you very much, Scott. I hope that wasn't too daunting. It was nice to see you, and we'll switch back to Bigface. But Scott will still be in the chat, and he can answer questions and all that. But well done. Thank you very much. In fact, I need to give you the button. Right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, does that mean that my voice is now gone all squeaky again? Or can you still hear me? Because I think I've turned something off now. Right, let's jump back into the chat and see what we've missed. But thank you, Scott, for all that. Simon, sorry. I'm terrible for that. I do it all the time. Thank you, Simon, and sorry, Simon, for calling you Scott several times. Right, where have we got to? As Scott says, highly recommend George's books. It's very in-depth but very easy to understand. That's what I was trying to get across there. It does take you through all the actual technical techniques of aquascaping. But like anything, it's just so as you know them, so as you know what you're doing when you do it. Why is everyone picking on Courtney? Oh. So, Mush the Snowman's been keeping fish for 40 years and still learning, which is a good attitude to have. Courtney's not been alive for 40 years. And some of us have got t-shirts older than that. I think I might be one of those people. Jennifer's old enough to be your mother. How old are you, Courtney? I'm probably old enough to be your father as well. Paul, I also get fish for nearly 40 years and learn all the time. I think that's the thing. There's no, like, you don't complete fish keeping. It's not a game. There's always new things to learn. 21 in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, whoa. Let me get back down to the bottom. I'm probably killing everyone's ears because I've knackered my microphone again. Scott, Simon, same thing. I'm sorry, Scott and Simon, for getting your names wrong. There's nothing worse than being confused with me, says Scott. Oh dear. I do this all the time. I'm kind of famous for it in everyday life, of getting people's names wrong, even people I've known for dozens of years. So don't be afraid to pick me up if I call someone by the wrong name, because it's kind of my thing. And I can't learn. It's not that I don't want to learn, I can't. So I'm sorry. So, thank you, Simon, aka Scott. I didn't mean that at all. I know it was Simon and not Scott. I'm just terrible at it. So, yeah, I enjoyed that. That was very good, Simon. You did a good job. What else did we have planned for this evening? I remember we had topics and I can't remember what they are. Doodle-doo-doo-doo. There's that picture. You just missed it. Simon with his big spanner. GoPro still works, excellent. Webcam still works. So this is my, in fact, can I get rid of that? This is my mixing desk here. So this is why the sound's so awful. This might be a contributing factor as well. We don't know. So if anyone's got any tips of how to get rid of this bleeding noise, by all means let me know. As Chris says, I get the kid's name so wrong, I just shout child and point. I often shout numbers. 3! Why are you screaming the house down? 2! Get in the shower. Now there's something I didn't know. In other news, I discovered that Epistogramma eat trumpet snails. I'm assuming like sucking them out from within rather than eating the snail shell and all. Oh, we've had another thing. I heard a noise. Simon, you didn't really have to pay to get on the screen. It was free. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thanks for having me on. Here's to the next one. No, yeah, it was a pleasure. I think you did really well, Simon. Not Scott, Simon. Little Sandwich is putting a big bag of carbon in his sump. Don't know why. I missed the rest of that conversation. But let's move on to... Oh, someone else. Have I tried using a different channel in the mixer? I haven't, actually. I might try that. I'm scared to try it right now, just in case. But I might try that during the week. I might do some test live streams, so if you see me popping up on a random Tuesday afternoon, it might be just me trying to listen to myself. House news. Right, let's do a bit of house news. As you know, for the past 18 years, or maybe it just seems like that, I've been moving house, getting ready to move house, thinking about moving house, almost moving house. It's finally happening. I signed some documents today, so while that still doesn't guarantee, what we're hoping will happen will be a week today, so next Friday we will exchange, which means everybody in the chain signs all their contracts and sends it to each other's solicitors, and then the week after that is moving day. So we might be having another break from live streams that day, unless you all want to see me lugging boxes around and setting things up. But then we'll finally be in, so all hands are at the pump at the moment, and both interestingly and excitingly, maybe, might not be exciting, I have rented a place to move all my fish tanks to in advance. So this weekend, I'm going to start breaking down all my fish tanks. Well, that's not really true. This weekend I'm going to start consolidating even more. So, you might have heard me mention before that, well, let's get rid of the slideshow thing, shall we? Bear with me, people. So, hurrah, hurrah, yes, hurrah for house move. Pivot! Sorry, I saw that comment there. There'll be lots of that. Although, I will be paying someone to come and move all the stuff, so that's fine. But weekend's plan is break down all the fish tanks into as few fish tanks as I can. And then next week, I've ordered new racking. So I've gone for some super duper industrial racking. I've gone for the 6 foot span, 800 kilo per shelf, big dug racking with the melamine panels. So it's like super duper. So basically what I'm thinking is I can get 6 foot aquariums and rack them on top of each other, so I can have good old big old ones. My main plan being that eventually I'll have some proper 6 foot aquariums stacked, but then it will also let me have, because it's 6 foot by 2 foot, the tanks that I've been buying have been like 70 centimetres by 35 centimetres or 30 centimetres or whatever it is, so I can get like 6 of them. So, which is like 6 tanks this size on a rack, on a span. So loads of space. But so I've ordered these new racking systems. The racks come on Tuesday. I'm going to take the racks over to, or one of the racks anyway, over to the new place that I've rented, which is basically, it's like a studio flat. It's a 1 bedroom flat that I found through a friend of a person that I know. So it's perfect. It's basically a 1 bedroom studio place with a kitchen and everything. It's got a big space where I can set up a rack, bung in a load of fish tanks. So I'm going to take the rack over there. I'm going to take my spare fish tanks that I've never filled up. They're still sat in the garage. The sound is coil whine. That doesn't help me fix it. Go on, Mush. What do I do about coil whine? Not going to Google it now. But anyway, I'm going to take all the fish tanks over, fill them up, get them ready, and then I'm going to take over the discus, the angels, Humphrey the flower horn, my ancillary fish. That's not the way to describe them, but all the fish that are in with the discus, so like the rainbow fish, the tetras, the everything else, they all go into their own little individual tanks. Then I've got the fish in the fish room, so I've got the bristle noses, I've got the muck guppies, pardon me, the various endlers, and other bits and bobs. They'll all get moved over. Then I can clear down all the tanks here, or empty at least, all the tanks here, break down the racking in the garage here, so then a week on Friday, move to the new house, get into the new house, get the electrician in ASAP to put loads more power into the garage, which is going to be the fish room. So the plans, if you're new here and you haven't heard all this, this will be new to you. I've been talking about this for months now, it seems. The new house has a double garage, so at the moment my fish room is a third of a small garage. Now I'm getting an entirety of a double garage. I'm going to block that off and build a room inside it, but there's no real power, so there is the RCDs in there and the consumer unit and all that, but it's outdated, old, so I'm going to get an electrician in to replace all that, and then while he's doing that, get him to put in a bunch of sockets into the fish room space. It's where it's going to be. Build the fish room out, and then move all the fish from the rented accommodation into the new place. So it gives me a bit more time. I don't have to move everything one day and be managing everything in boxes or running extension leads to keep things going. And hopefully we'll be all good. Does it get better if I do that? Does that make the sound any better? Or is it still bad? Anyway, it better not be. I spent a fortune on this. For a Scotsman, I spent a fortune on this. It better not be dead. So that's the plan. So I'm very excited to have actually found a place that will let me put aquariums in as a temporary measure. Then I can go away, get the garage door replaced, get the electricians in, get the room built. Might not all happen in that order. Build even more racking in the new garage. Get everything in, and then transfer it all back from the other place. So that's the idea. And then I can start getting more exciting fishies, which I've been talking about. And interestingly, seeing Alan Hopkinson's snakeheads just pop into the chat. Snakeheads is definitely one of the things that I want to get involved in. So I've been admiring them from afar for a long time. So hopefully, snakeheads will be on, not in the menu, that's not what I meant to say. Snakeheads will be on the docket at least. Yes, so Courtney's saying I can confirm it is very strong. It is very strong. I've paid for the top stuff. 8-foot racking for lots more tanks coming next week. Yeah, so when I built out this fish room that I've got here at the moment, I don't know whether this is of interest to anyone, but I went for 45 centimetre deep racks, so like 18 inches deep, and I could never find tanks that fit properly. And all the used tanks or second-hand tanks that I could find on Marketplace or wherever it was always, oh yeah, it's 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet. 2 feet was always the key measurement, and I only had one 2 feet rack. So I'm buying 2 6-foot spans of the 2 feet one. I'll then have a 5 foot and a 4 foot span of the 18-inch ones. So that should allow me to get a good mix of tanks, whether they be small breeding tanks, grow out tanks, display tanks almost. I kind of want to have I have a vision for just having like all these racks around, and I really want to face them off with some plywood or something like that to make them just look a bit prettier. And then I have like a build area, I don't know, like a bench or something like that, where I can have a tank that's maybe this size, like your normal 2 foot by 1 foot by 18 inches or whatever it is, for trying things, doing intermittent scapes of, oh, I'm going to try with these plants, I'm going to try with this type of wood or this type of rock, so like temporary things where I can just do little builds and try things out. And then obviously next year, because I think we've missed it now this year, start the build of the big pond, because that's the big thing that I want to get going. Courtney is excited for my new fish garage. You're not as excited as me, because I've been so frustrated these last few months because I've not been able to really make any new content, because I've not been able to buy new fish because I didn't want to take on more responsibility. So yes, it's going to be all go in a few weeks hopefully. I'll definitely be over to Fishman Aquatics to stock up on some things maybe. Moosh the Snowman, I think you're definitely going to have to email me and talk me through some of this. Check your graphics cards. I've been having problems with my graphics card, so that does ring true with me. It normally starts when it's got much going through it and it's overworked. I mean, it's a decent, cheapish graphics card, but it's been giving me all kinds of jip that maybe it's on its way out or something. I will do some more fault finding through the week. Where am I moving to? Anywhere nice. I'm moving literally within 5 minutes of here. It's just a different area of Sheffield, just up the road. One of the key decisions with moving was that we stayed within the same school district so the kids could go to the same schools. So it's just a bigger house nearby, just up the road. We're nearly 11 o'clock, and I haven't even talked about the thing that's been blowing my mind for the last few weeks. So, Rebecca, get ready to answer some questions here. Hang on while I just look this up. It was brought to my attention, I think it was just like in passing. Now I can't find the thing. Sorry. It was brought to my attention that it turns out there's no such thing as a fish. What? 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 And yeah, this shows you what I've been looking at recently. So it's this one that I've gone for. I didn't pay that though. Didn't pay far off it, mind you. Just in passing, freshwater ichthyology in the chat. Oh yeah, there's no such thing as a fish. What? Which on the face of it doesn't make any sense because, oh, this is a bad example because there aren't actually fish in there, but if there were fish in there, I'd be going, but what's that then? That's a fish. It turns out that the scientific community, and there's a QI episode that you can go and watch, it's actually quite funny about this, that the classification, scientifically, the taxonomy of fish and vertebrata, that you can't have, I don't know how to explain this. There are no fish. There's no such thing as a fish. So either everything that exists that's living is a fish, or there's no such thing as a fish. That just blows my mind. I don't get how we can be saying this thing. And I kind of get it from the point of view of, well, how do you classify a fish? Is it because everything that lives in the water is a fish? And you go kind of on the face of it, oh right, okay, yeah, we could use that, but oh, what about frogs? Alright, yeah. Everything that have gills. Well, some don't have gills, some are labyrinthine. Some, what? So, scientific community, if you take nothing from this, pull your finger out your buttholes and start classifying fish properly. We've got a question here about filters. Sorry, that just made me laugh because you can't see it because of my face. What a shame. Gonna have to move that. Question from Richard Sklong about filters. I didn't see that question, sorry. Yeah, so there you go, axolotls. So that, basically I'm blaming you for this, Rebecca, because this has blown my mind and I still don't fully understand it. Dinosaurs and birds are the same, they're nested within reptiles, so birds are dinosaurs and dinosaurs are birds and they're all reptiles. Exactly. And fish are reptiles, apparently. Some people think fish are reptiles and some people think reptiles are fish. Or some people think they can't say a fish isn't a reptile, so therefore we can't have reptiles either. Axolotls and amphibians have gills. Yeah. I had one particularly engaging argument with someone who said, of course there are fish, what else is a dolphin? And I'm like, well, I think pretty much everyone agrees a dolphin isn't a fish, but alright. It gives thought to feeding chicken turkey dinosaurs. Well, I just wanted to end this stream with, how can you have... Maybe we should stop relying on biologists, maybe we should rely on chefs. If it fits under the seafood menu, this is taken directly from QI, but if it fits in the seafood menu, we should call it a fish. And then other things which are called fish, which aren't fish. So a crayfish isn't a fish, but it has fish in its name. So how can you be a thing without being a thing? You have to be a thing to... There has to be a thing for us to complain that that thing doesn't exist, and then we can't have that thing. Or a starfish. Is a starfish a fish? I don't think a starfish is a fish, is it? So I'm glad I'll save this till the end because I don't think I couldn't really do much. If we talked about this half an hour ago, I would have just gone into that spiral of, oh, I don't understand, my brain hurts. Oh. So we haven't done any giveaways tonight, I realise. So shall we finish off with a couple of giveaways because I've just ruined it by breaking everyone's brain. I'll do one last round of, come on people, we have 30 odd, 40 odd, what is it, 40, 37 people here, 40 likes, we've broken the ratio. Starfishes are a word I can't pronounce. I chino and dormata. I like that. This put Peter's arguments about keeping fish being bad is bad. Yeah, snakes have scales. Does that make them a fish? Who knows? Anyway, thank you for watching. Please, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. It really helps me out. If you're sitting near someone else, tell them to click it as well. I don't know why I'm doing that so lacklusterly. Please tell someone else. Share it with your friends. If you know anyone else in are into fish keeping, or they think you might like getting into it, tell them to click that button. That would be really helpful out. And let's do one final giveaway. The first one of the evening, actually. Let's do one giveaway. After we see that one from Courtney. Big face. You know work. Has anyone else seen about Cristiano Ronaldo? Yeah, I had a conversation with Michael from Michael's Fish Room earlier. Getting attacked by a wasp. Do you see that? I think I've broken OBS. I can't switch to any of my sources. There we go. Yeah, Michael from Michael's Fish Room, we chat every now and again, and he was like, "Oh, I've just seen Cristiano Ronaldo's coming back to the UK. Is that all over your news?" And it had been, but I was like, "Oh yeah, I heard it's all over the American sites. Yeah, it's a hoax." He was almost in tears. So, Michael, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I wound you up about that. But yes, he did say I got him good with that one. He's a big Man U fan, Michael from Michael's Fish Room, if you didn't guess. Is a wasp a fish? Who knows? Cristiano Ronaldo, he might be a fish. Am I a fish? Are you a fish? If you smell fish, are fish around? Who knows? Right, before we crash into Maple Street Aquatics, let's do... Oh, I can press this button, I think. Let's do a spin of the wheel. What can we win? What can we win? It's a goodie bag. It's better than stickers and not as expensive as a hoodie, so that's my perfect prize. As always, if you want some stickers, just send me an email. But if you want to win this prize, which is a goodie bag, which might be, I don't know, a hat, a pen, some fish foods, who knows, stickers, all kinds of stuff, I'll send you a goodie bag. All you have to do to be in it is you have to win, first off. You have to live in the UK or be willing to pay the postage. You have to be a subscriber. And you have to have lasted this long and been here. So we'll switch to small face. We'll make everyone eligible. I'll go to keyword. And I can think of nothing better to say than Ronaldo. So if you want to win that, type Ronaldo into the chat. Why, Chris, why am I getting messages about Chris Chaos? What have you been up to? Oh, I don't believe you got Chris to suggest that a wasp is an asshole, and I agree. The amount of spiders I've got in this house, do you think they'd be able to take care of one pesky wasp? I can hear the little... It's like strafing me and dive bombing me. I'll put you on webcam. You see it? I can't see it. No, I don't know. So, if you want to win, Ronaldo is the word you have to press. Why have I got my face is in the wrong place? That's what the problem is. This is on desktop mode. Main camera will move me over there a wee bit. There we go. That's better. Have all the words to go for. Yeah, well, I've probably alienated anyone from the other half of Manchester or Liverpool or anyone else. I hate wasps because they hate me. I mean, I'm sure they serve some kind of evolutionary purpose, but I'll be damned if I know what it is. Right, let's hurry this up, people. Are we ready? We've got 25 eligible users. Mods are in, regulars are in, channel members. Are we ready to roll it? I think we are. 3, 2, 1. Hang on, let me turn on. Haha. We'll turn on desktop so you can hear this. And 3, 2. I missed it, didn't I? Silva Surfer, you have won the giveaway. Congratulations, Silva Surfer. All you have to do is send me an email. The email address is... Oh, it's not even up there. The email address is... No, still not up there. Third time lucky. The email address is that graham@aquariumadventures.co.uk. Don't send me an Instagram message or a Facebook something. It's never going to get through. Because unlike Ruth from Tropical Fish Keeping UK, I just don't answer messages. So email me. You can claim your prize. You need to tell me where you live, and I'll send it over to you. And I think that's that, people. One last beg, please subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, watch a video, do all those things. Thank you everyone for joining me tonight and putting up with my awful audio experience. I will try and make it better next week. We have the technology, we can make it happen. If you are one of the people who has an idea, also email me and tell me, oh, it could be your graphics card, or it could be this, or check that. We'll try that. And other than that, what can I say? Thank you for joining me. We'll see you next week. Bye.